WPTV Treasure Coast News starts now.
Power problems days after Ian's impact, the work that goes into getting electricity restored up and down the Treasure Coast after a historic storm. And the serious concerns the storm is now creating on an already troubled insurance system here in Florida. What it could be for homeowners moving forward. Good evening, I'm Todd Wilson, and welcome to Treasure Coast News on WPTV News Channel 5. Each Sunday at 7 p.m. you can join us right here for dedicated coverage of stories and issues in and around the Treasure Coast from Stewart to Sebastian. We begin tonight by checking in with First Alert meteorologist Kate Wenzel.
Todd, let's get to the latest on now post-tropical Ian. So it is no longer a hurricane, but it has been bringing rains to folks across the mid-Atlantic region as well as the northeast United States today. It's located just a little bit to the southwest of Richmond, Virginia, moving to the east-northeast at 6, and it does have a minimum pressure now of 1,008 millibars, so nothing like the same storm that we were dealing with over the past few days. We're going to have more on the tropics coming up in Maine weather, but first a look at our local weather. Jensen Beach, this was 7 a.m. and had a lot of clouds, but still a pretty sunrise there. Again, mostly cloudy throughout the day. Some peaks of blue skies, and that was nice, and we didn't see much rain. So all things considered, it was a nice day across the region with temperatures, you could tell, not as hot as the summertime. And it's nice to see those dew points come down a little bit and those daytime temperatures come down as well. So here's the rain across the northeastern United States as well as the Mid-Atlantic region around D.C. Some heavy rain moved through portions of eastern Long Island through Montauk and portions of the Hamptons, as well as portions of the Massachusetts coastline, including Cape Cod, Nantucket. Martha's Vineyard saw some rain today, but pretty soon all of that rain will be moving out of the northeast. Well, here at home, we're nice and quiet. Should stay pretty quiet tonight, and your hour-by-hour forecast showing temperatures generally starting around 80 degrees and then in the upper 70s through the overnight hours, and there is just a slight chance of seeing some coastal showers. There could be a lightning strike mainly offshore. I'll be back in just a few minutes with the rest of your forecast.
Thank you, Kate. This weekend, the cleanup is only beginning after the storm. Ian's impact continues to be felt across the area. That includes thousands of people who dealt with power problems days after Hurricane Ian. Indian River, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee County were among the hardest hit communities in our area. In some instances, folks living across the street from each other had power restored while neighbors remained completely in the dark. Ian's impact also affected schools up and down the Treasure Coast. While students in Martin County were able to get back to class on Friday, Indian River and St. Lucie public schools remained closed Friday after several buildings and campuses throughout the school districts were without power. This week, tornado warnings alerts on your phone likely gave you the time you needed to take cover. But for many of our viewers, those warnings either came too close to the impact of severe weather or not at all. WPTV's Michelle Casada digged into how the warnings are issued and who is responsible for making sure you have time to get to a safe room.
There are several steps taken to notify each region that is impacted by a tornado warning. For example, which cell phone towers will be selected so you get that alert straight to your phone. I spent the day trying to figure out why some in the path of the tornado activity didn't receive those alerts early. Nothing can prepare you for tornado damage, but when you're in the path of one, you should know.
We didn't actually get the alert.
Glenn Gervich spoke to us one day after a possible tornado ripped through his screen enclosure in Wellington Tuesday night. His alert, he says, came 5 minutes too late. And in Boca Raton, Richard Martin had a similar experience.
And about 10 seconds later, the roof was in on me. I was on the floor under a pile of debris.
Timing is everything for the National Weather Service. In the Miami office, warning coordination meteorologist Robert Molleda says he handles warnings for South Florida, including Palm Beach County and Lake Okeechobee. The Melbourne office handles the Treasure Coast.
We have a pretty much constant coordination.
Once the signs of rotation in a thunderstorm are seen on radar, he says they zero in on what region is impacted and issue an alert.
Those warnings go out, they're received via the communication networks by those cell phone towers. They can decode the location message in our warnings and then alert the cell phones or the devices that are within the footprint of that transmitter.
What would be the reason why someone wouldn't receive a tornado warning if they're in that vicinity of where the tornado is headed?
I mean, that's hard to say. There could be a variety of reasons.
Moyeda says once the NWS issues the alert through the wireless emergency alert system, those warnings will reach devices. I reached out to cell phone carriers who said my questions would be better answered by FEMA and the Federal Communications Commission, which implements and administers the alert system. I've contacted those offices.
We urge everyone to have more than one way of receiving warning alerts.
To ensure that you are getting those severe weather alerts on your phone, go to your settings and under notifications, make sure that your government emergency alerts are turned on. In West Palm Beach, Michelle Casada, WPTV News Channel 5.
Well, CTIA, which represents the U.S. wireless communications industry, told WPTV not receiving a weather emergency alert may also be because your phone is not connected to a cell site broadcasting the alert, or you may be connected to a cell site undergoing maintenance or is out of service. As communities on the west side of our state scramble to put the pieces back together, those pieces and necessities are getting harder to come by. So much so that stores in our area are selling out fast. WPTV's News Channel 5's Daniel Seat has more on the struggle taking place hours where the hurricane hit.
We are grabbing water and supplies for our home because we don't know what we're going back to.
Nearly 3 hours from home, and Jessica and Courtney stopped at Tractor Supply in Wellington to get what they could before they go back to what is left of their home.
We are going home to damage. Everything's going to be damaged. We were looking for gas cans, but they're out over here too.
Shelves are completely cleared out of generators, tarps, gasoline cans, and other fuel transfer tools. Phones were ringing off the hook at Tractor Supply, and employees had to say time and time again they didn't have a few of the essentials. But Jessica says they grabbed what they could.
We have waters, we have shop vacs, we have our cats, our food supply. That's really all we have.
So they all piled into that one car they had left with 4 cats, 3 people, just to get water to their families.
We accepted when it was hitting that we were going back to nothing. So anything that we go back to is just a blessing.
We're trying to honestly just go there and see what's going on, and then we are gonna get as much stuff as we can, see how bad the damage is, and then we're going from there. I think we're leaving again. Honestly, we can't stay there. It's not good for us or our cats. We have no place for them, and they're already stressed.
Reporting from Wellington, I'm Danielle Seat, WPTV News Channel 5.
Well, Hurricane Ian will likely be the costliest storm in Florida's history, with losses reaching as much as $50 billion. The reality is many of the homes not damaged by wind were damaged by water and likely do not have flood insurance. That means they could be walking away with nothing or only a fraction of their home's worth. Insurance experts tell us homeowners insurance does not include flooding. A wide majority of Florida homeowners do not have flood insurance. The Insurance Information Institute estimates only 18% of homeowners have flood policies.
Every homeowner in Florida should strongly consider flood insurance. Florida is the most vulnerable state to flooding in the country, and it doesn't take a hurricane. Just a severe summer storm could flood your community and flood your home. So that's really important, and it's a lesson that unfortunately many people learn the hard way.
Well, the federal government does offer flood insurance, and rates have changed. Policies near the ocean will cost more. Also, many private insurance companies offer flood insurance. Renters also get flood insurance, especially if you're on the ground level. Insurance experts are also watching closely the impact on insurance companies across our state. The insurance of last resort, Citizens, exists to pull homeowners out of losses being felt from Hurricane Ian. 53% of the state is insured by Citizens, by far the largest insurer. The state helps back Citizens insurance, but if things get bad, it could all fall on all Floridians.
We're not done with hurricane season. What if there's another significant storm this year? Remember 2004 and 2005, how much activity we had. It's not necessarily one storm and done here in Florida. That would deplete the reserves probably. And what that means is every consumer is on the hook to replenish those reserves with multi-year surcharges on all of our insurance bills. That's home, condo, renters, even auto insurance.
Those assessments could fall initially on Citizens policyholders and then as a safety net ultimately fall on anyone with an insurance policy. On Friday, state officials announced that FEMA authorized the National Flood Insurance Program to approve the state's request for a waiver allowing policyholders within the program to access a portion of their claims without going through the full claims process. The waiver was made after the request of Governor DeSantis along with the state's chief financial officer. A competitive housing market and a rise in rent is forcing people out of their homes. The city of Fort Pierce is stepping in to help those who have been displaced with its rapid rehousing program. Applications for assistance open Monday, October 24th at 9 a.m. They'll be processed on a first submitted, first qualified, first served basis. Assistance is available only to Fort Pierce residents and will be available until funding runs out. To find out if you qualify, just head on over to our website, WPTV.com. Incredible stories have emerged in Hurricane Ian's aftermath. That includes survival stories. Still ahead, we'll take you to Okeechobee County. And a little relief at the gas pump. Now that October has arrived, just how much you may save per gallon on your next fill-up.
And as we're tracking what's left of what was once Hurricane Ian moving across the mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States, we'll also have some drier weather here at home. Your full Sunday forecast coming up after the break.
This is WPTV Treasure Coast News.
Just days after Hurricane Ian moved through Florida, and we are still hearing stories of survival that includes Okeechobee County. On Friday, News Channel 5's Tori Dunnan met families who are cleaning up, thankful they made it through the storm.
People helping people
get it all cleaned up so we can get back to life
is the theme of this terrifying story at J&S Fish Camp close to the Okeechobee-Martin County border.
I'm grateful to have my life, my baby's life. So
Athena Garland, who is pregnant,
able to get him out through the window,
was sleeping in this recliner. Her grandmother also inside.
She goes, Athena, Athena. And she's like yoking me out of the recliner. And as she's yoking me, the tree fell on top. And we literally got trapped inside of it, so we're screaming for help. The branches come through the window.
Another couple,
pretty damn scary,
in a nearby RV,
grabbed her hand and then she fell on my legs,
also screaming for help.
And all of a sudden it was just a real loud boom, and then the trailer just started
rolling.
And then we just started flying all over the trailer. So, I mean,
the tree was literally stuck.
Athena's family, staying in another decades-old cottage,
at least 80 years from what I'm told,
jumped into action.
My wife, she is the first person to jump up on top of the trailer and jerk the door open, and then I got her down and got both of them. We got both of them out. That's when we realized that they were still in that, because you couldn't even see.
Climbed through here, but there was a bunch of tree limbs.
Gratitude and getting out alive fill their thoughts today.
I'm thanking the good Lord above, because we could have been in the bed.
If we were in the bed, we'd have been dead.
all of a sudden it's like a big
Stuart Gray was just down the road at Butch's that very same night.
Stuart says that the winds were whipping over the dike from Lake Okeechobee, and emergency managers tell us most of the damage that they saw was in mobile home parks and RV communities right off of Lake Okeechobee. Stuart telling us that his home here was one of the first to get it.
My recliner that I flipped over.
It got so bad,
crawled up inside it.
He eventually bailed out in his car.
I thought the walls was going to explode.
A night to remember, a night to look back on, and to learn from.
It was definitely an eye-opener to take things more serious than.
In Okeechobee County, Tori Dunnan, WPTV News Channel 5.
And we saw the clouds streaming across Tequesta Hobe Sound area today, across Jonathan Dickinson State Park. And you can see the sun setting, giving some pink shades to the clouds tonight. So, boy, what a difference a couple of days makes weather-wise. We are all in the clear, and we have some nice, quiet weather for the next several days. Now, here's what's left of post-tropical Ian moving to the east-northeast at 6. It's located very close to the Virginia-North Carolina border, located a couple hundred miles, or about 100 miles to the southwest of Richmond, Virginia. Now look at these winds, only 25 miles per hour, so nothing like the storm we dealt with over a few days ago, but it's still bringing lots of rain to folks across the mid-Atlantic region and the northeast. Generally, rainfall amounts between 1 and 3 inches, but you can see did hit the eastern edges of Long Island today, also brought some heavy rains to places like Cape Cod Todd. Boston saw some rain. Nantucket and even Martha's Vineyard saw some rain from Ian. Well, back here at home, we are dry on land right now, and we expect to stay virtually dry overnight. Maybe an isolated coastal shower. That is about all. But if you're headed out and about for your Saturday evening, leave those umbrellas at home. Now, tomorrow morning, you're going to notice things feeling a little bit on the cool side. Right around 65 Fort Pierce, 64 Vero Beach, 63 degrees for the folks in Okeechobee, and 63 in Sebastian. So enjoy that little cool start to the day, a little indication that we're now in the month of October. On Vipercast, you can see as we head through this evening, mostly cloudy skies, winds out of the east-northeast. Vipercast showing some rain possibly for South Palm Beach County, but the Treasure Coast looking good. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, lows ranging from the mid-60s inland, upper 60s to low 70s coastal Martin County. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, temperatures warming into the upper 80s, only a 10% chance of showers. And things have been rough out there for the boaters. The seas are starting to decrease, but still a little bit bumpy. Still a little remnant northeasterly swell from Ian. Seas generally 2 to 4, but at times up to 5 feet. Inland waters, we will have a light chop. All right, here's your extended forecast. So virtually dry, just a 10% chance of an isolated shower tomorrow, Monday into Tuesday, and daytime highs very comfortable, close to seasonal averages in the upper 80s. Now, as we head into the second part of the work week, our rain chances will increase between 20 and 40%, but look at these temperatures, no 90s anytime soon.
Wow. A big thank you again to our WPTV weather spotters for helping us capture some incredible images and videos these past few days. And if you'd like to join the team, you can find all the info to sign up at the top of our website, WPTV.com. Just click on the Weather Spotters tab. Our next training session is currently scheduled for Saturday, November 19th. A reminder tonight, if you need to fill up your tank and can wait a day, well, a tax break on gas went into effect today. Throughout the entire month of October, drivers in Florida will save 25 cents per gallon. It's because of a gas tax holiday signed by Governor Ron DeSantis back in May. The governor estimates it will save Florida drivers around $200 million. Man, that's pretty good. For families making the short drive north to Central Florida, theme parks have opened up again. Disney's theme parks are open, which is great. The Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom reopened on Friday. Universal began a phased reopening for resort guests, only beginning on Friday. Busch Gardens Tampa Bay, and SeaWorld Orlando will remain closed on Friday.
Here are your Treasure Coast sports highlights with the ESPN 106.3 sports team.
What's going on, my friends? Tyre Smith from ESPN 106.3. Due to the events of Hurricane Ian, USF football had to relocate this Saturday's game against ECU here at FAU Stadium, but that was able to bring some Treasure Coast superstars that we used to watch on Friday nights back to our area. And I'm talking about Treasure Coast alum Rashawn Yates and Vero Beach alum Devon Hicks. Yates is in his final season with USF, while Hicks, well, he's just in his second. Yates didn't suit up in today's game against ECU, but Hicks did. The linebacker saw plenty of action, but it wasn't enough though, as ECU dominated USF, winning 48-28. Still, it's not every day that we get to see these Treasure Coast stars play so close to home, and they definitely enjoy it.
It feels great playing close to home. Like, most of my family comes out, visit me, and watch me play as I continue to play and just make the best of my opportunity. Things I want to improve on is just playing discipline faster, just doing all the little things right, continue to grow. To finish the season strong and make a bowl game as goals for myself, I really don't have goals. I just want to continue to be the best player for my team.
And that's the look of sports.
Well, the Miami Dolphins say they are standing behind the evaluation process following a scary injury this week. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa underwent an MRI Friday following what the team says was a concussion in Thursday night's game. You may have seen the play. Tua's head slammed against the ground. He could not get back up. He was taken off the field on a stretcher. Tua started the game against the Cincinnati Bengals despite suffering an injury the previous Sunday. Head coach Mike McDaniel addressed those concerns Friday and said he would never put his players' health on the line.
There was no medical indication, from all resources that there's anything regarding the head. So if there would have been, of course, if there would have been anything lingering with his head, I wouldn't I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I prematurely put someone out there.
Well, football is a big part of living on the Treasure Coast. If you have a child that plays high school ball or maybe even younger, Tua's injury may have you worried about the impacts of concussions. We spoke to a local neurologist about the way concussions can have an even more severe impact on younger players.
Any blow to the head, the first thing that's going to happen is the brain's going to bounce inside the cage, and that's going to create potential disconnections between the neurons. And so this is a developing organ. Those connections might take a little longer to develop actually, or might be a little bit delay in order to develop. At the same time, some of those connections that you already had, they can actually break down.
Yeah, Dr. Reyes says if you see signs of this type of injury, an MRI is the best way to reveal if there is damage to the brain. As for the Dolphins quarterback, the team did not give a timetable for his return. First responders answering the call to help. Still ahead on the Treasure Coast News, the impact local law enforcement is having right now in the areas hit hardest by Hurricane Ian. In Fort Pierce, police have arrested an adult and teenager in connection with a series of auto burglaries. According to the police department, officers were called to North Lawnwood Circle earlier this week in response to two men checking door handles of parked vehicles. Officers say it didn't take long for them to find the two suspects who were hiding in bushes nearby. Detectives say the two suspects were still in possession of stolen items. More than a dozen Martin County deputies are helping Southwest Florida in their recovery. The mission for the team of 15 will be to patrol, guide traffic, and help with anything the other law enforcement agencies in the area may need. Right now, the plan is to stay for 2 weeks. A second team of 15 will switch out and relieve this current team headed over there. We are also getting a glimpse of the work first responders from our area are doing on the West Coast. Troopers from Palm Beach County are in Punta Gorda, helping where they can. Here, 2 troopers are assisting homeowners by putting tarps on roofs. The area had a nearly 7-foot storm surge when Ian came ashore. Now, some good news from NASA in the aftermath of Ian. The team working on the Artemis 1 mission says there was no damage to the Artemis flight hardware. Earlier in the week, NASA moved the rocket back to the vehicle assembly building at Kennedy Space Center to avoid the storm's impact. NASA says it is now focusing on a launch window between November 12th and November 27th. They say they want to give employees time for post-storm recovery. You can help right now and make a difference. WPTV is partnering with the Scripps Howard Fund for Hurricane Relief, working directly with local organizations to ensure every cent you give goes directly to people impacted by the storm. It's very easy to help. Text the word storm to 50155 or just scan this QR code or go to WPTV/storm.
And back here at home for tonight, mainly dry, nothing more than an isolated shower with the highest chance near the coast. But overnight lows as we head into Sunday morning, a little bit on the cool side. So you're going to notice that. 63 overnight in Okeechobee, 64 Vero Beach and Fort Pierce right around 65. Port St. Lucie, your wake up temperature 66 degrees. Boca 73. All right, here's your extended forecast. Temperatures hovering in the upper 80s through much of the week. A little bit cooler on Wednesday and Thursday when we have some more rain in the forecast, but overall a generally quiet week. Better chance of some storms next weekend on Saturday.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. You can catch us again next Saturday evening, highlighting the diversity of the Treasure Coast. You can find more stories about what's going on around the Treasure Coast on WPTV.com. Just click the Treasure Coast link at the top of the homepage.